Oh man, this video is going to be the most clickbait that you've had yet, guaranteed. It'll be your watch graph will be like 99%, 100,000 views, and then after the interview starts.
What's going on, YouTube? I thought we'd try something out a little bit different tonight. This is a nice little campus on my house. I hope that water's not too loud. I didn't bring the lapel mic, but you know, here we are. I didn't intend for this video to be really clickbait. I'm sorry if it is. The guy that I'm interviewing, his name is Taylor. We're friends. We worked at my last job. You may be familiar with Katie. She also worked at my last job. We're just a group of people. We stayed friends after that job. And he worked really hard and became a CTO of a company, not a startup company, not with like 3 people or 4 people where there's only, you have no option but to be the CTO. No, a legitimate, 50, 100 person company. And sometimes I feel like I hustle, and this guy takes it to the next level. He's had 2 40-hour-a-week jobs, one web development, one mobile development. Like for the entire time he graduated college, he has a computer science degree. I've interviewed him on that, Computer Science versus Bootcamp. If you want to go check that video out, you can. But he's a really respectable guy. In fact, he's in the Discord. I mentioned that at the end of the video, and he'll answer any of your questions. So feel free to reach out. But this is just a kind of a showcase of what can happen if you really hustle in this field. I mean, he makes way more than I do. I mean, that's not always what it's about, but I'm 27, almost 28 next month, and he's 25, and he's still got a while at 25, and so I think it's a really great feat for him, and I respect him. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. He's a really cool dude, and I think he has some gems here. So I hope you enjoy. So, Taylor, tell us about yourself. We've done an interview before previously, like I think it was like a year ago when we worked at the same job. And now you're 1 year older and the CTO of a company. Can you give us the A to Z background? How did that happen? How does that work?
I think it was a little more than a year ago, but yeah, long story short, I left that job, got a job at a startup that I had worked at for a long time before that. I worked there for a little bit, didn't really want to stay there. And then I got the job at the company I'm at right now, and I worked there for about 7 to 8 months, and then I became the CTO, and now I've been doing that for, I don't know, almost 4 or 5 months now.
So we got to know, how much do you make as CTO at 25? What's that like?
I mean, it's good. Definitely well into 6 figures.
Okay, so what does the CTO actually entail, right? Because when people think like your age and CTO, that's like normally it would be like a smaller company, smaller business, just like a little startup phase. But your company is not a startup phase at all. Like it's established business. You had a CTO before, but you just took his spot, right? So what do you actually do on a day-to-day basis? Like, are you coding as much as you did when we were working together?
Yeah, so that's the one thing that I think is the most unique about CTO is that you work a lot more than I think anyone thinks. Like, when they offered me the job, they're like, it's going to be a lot more work. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'm sure every job says it's more work or whatever. But, like, it was a lot more work. Like, really, I think in reality, I do just as much programming as I did before, but I just do 20 hours a week worth of extra stuff. And so my day-to-day used to be kind of like wake up at 8:30, not wake up at 8:30, but kind of like start work at 8:30 and kind of get done at like 4:30. And now it's much more like I'm up at 7 and I'm not really done until like 7 or 8. But it's different because as the CTO, you like want to do those things, and so it's a completely different mentality. But yeah, it's been interesting to kind of make that switch from a programmer to full on CTO.
What was the process like from your original job at this company to CTO? How did you transition there?
So the main reason that I'm the CTO now is that I was kind of designed to be the replacement to the CTO. The CTO that had been there for a long time wasn't planning on leaving or anything like that, but they just needed someone to kind of be a backup and learn a lot of the tribal knowledge that he did about our systems. We have a really complicated programming architecture that we use, and there's several pieces of it that you would have no idea how to work in if you didn't have someone teach you that. And so really I was gonna be kind of his backup in case he like died or whatever. And so that's kind of how I was trained. So it was really not that bad because I was essentially trained in everything that he was trained in, and then I just started doing those things, right? So it wasn't like I was, just a programmer at the time. Like I really was doing a lot more than a normal programmer would, and then I eventually just kind of morphed into the role.
But you didn't know that, right? Like he just left, and then he was like, "Hey Taylor, what you think about CTO?" And then you were like, "What?" And then tell us about what like your customers thought of that whole deal, just because of your age, right? They're like 25 CTO. Like how did that go over?
Right, so we actually had to handle it very carefully because we have some really, really big clients, like companies that are worth billions of dollars. And so it was kind of like we didn't want to say, hey, the vision of this technology company is being placed in the hands of a 25-year-old. Exactly, right? We kind of tried to ease it in. We actually kind of lied a little bit, and we said I was the director of technology for about a month. We predated all of our documents and my resume and stuff for about a month before, and then after about a month is when we started to tell our smaller clients, and then about a few weeks after that we'd tell our bigger clients. And so the reason we did that is so we could introduce me as like, hey, this is Taylor. He's going to be working with you, get to meet him, get to know him. And I started to get some rapport with some of these clients. So it wasn't like, hey, all of a sudden the CTO's gone. Your new point of contact is this 25-year-old kid from Montana. So what we did it a little interestingly, but.
What do they think about you now? How long have you been doing it, and what do they think?
Yeah, so I've been doing it for now, I want to say like 5 months. It's been a while, but as far as I can tell, they love me. They think it's been a great change of pace. They really like everything that I've been doing. And I think maybe it's because I've been working a little harder than I probably normally would, just because I feel so young and I feel like this is a position that's above my head. And so I've been taking a lot of time and effort, a lot more than I normally would. I would say for the vast majority of my career, other people have thought that I've been a hard worker. I think for the past 5 months is the first time in my life I've thought I've been a hard worker, and I've been proud of like my work. Do you know what I mean? It's a little different mentality where people always say, "Oh, good job, this is great, you get a lot of stuff done," but it's different when you actually get it done yourself and you're sitting there thinking to yourself like, "Yeah, I did something. Like I have to do these things and I did them."
Do you struggle with imposter syndrome because CTO? I'm sure a lot of people just like the title and the prestige of those 3 letters for whatever reason, and then your responsibilities, and you report to, you have clients looking at you. How do you deal with that imposter syndrome, if you do?
So I definitely felt it at first. It was very, very scary at first. It was like, I really don't know if because they kind of came to me and said, hey, do you think you can do this? We want you to be in this position, but if you're not ready, we'll find a different CTO. We'll pay we'll pay to get a new CTO if you don't think you can do it, and you can just continue in your current role, but we want you to do it. And so I definitely had that a little bit, and I actually took about 2 weeks to really accept a promotion, which is kind of weird. I don't know of anyone who's waited to accept a promotion, but I did. I took like 2 weeks because I felt a lot of imposter syndrome. I was just like, I don't think I'm ready. But the more and more I dissected it, I kept thinking to myself like, I know how to do everything in this job. I know how to do everything that I need to do. Anything that I don't know how to do can't be that hard to learn. Really, the thing for me that I was really scared about was just organization and keeping on top of things. Because when you're the CTO, everything falls on you. So if you forget something, or your employee forgets something, or some ball gets dropped and a deadline gets missed, that's like on you at the end of the day. And that's what was really hard, is mentally just saying, I have to make sure that everything I do is tip top. I can't let anything fall through the cracks. And that's where the imposter syndrome came in the most, because I've never been good at that my whole life.
So there's still probably some people that are doubting or wondering about like the credentials here, but you have a computer science degree, but like it wasn't like you like lucked out, right? You went to school, but you're also hustling on the side. You've had like 2 jobs for as long as I can remember. You're always doing something to progress here. So, I mean, technically your work experience is, a set number of years, but if you include the second job and all of the other side jobs with that itself, it's probably closer to double what you actually put on your resume. It'd be what I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, so the fact that I'm a CTO right now has really been kind of a perfect storm. It wasn't just like they lost their CTO and they're like, oh, let's just make the programmer the CTO, right? Like they're a very big company, and they made this decision consciously just because of the things that I had shown them that I had done. And really, it was the perfect storm, just because throughout my career I had been doing a lot of stuff. So in college, I worked on projects like every single week, if not every single day, side projects. So when I graduated, when I left, I had like so much stuff that I had on my resume. Like I had tons of projects that I could show people. I could show people code. I could show people examples. Then I got a job as the first hire at a startup. And so when I was doing that, I did that for a little bit, and it kind of got boring pretty quickly. So I got a second full-time job working as a mobile app developer. And so I did both of those jobs congruently for 2 years. And then pretty much I've always switched jobs to learn something new. And so I learned a bunch about regular web development, a bunch about mobile development, a bunch about system administration, a bunch about all these different fields that are kind of not related. They're all kind of related to my computer science.
But even then, like you still had to present an action plan for them before they actually officially gave you the position, right? Like you still had to do a presentation. You still had to talk with everyone. It wasn't like, do you want this? Yes or no. It was like, do you want this? Okay, if you do, please give us a plan of action for what you're going to do for this company and how you're going to improve it. So it's a little bit more of a drawn out process than what you actually make it seem, from what I can tell.
Yeah, no, yeah, I kind of minimize it because now it's in the past or whatever. But yeah, at the time I had to like make an actual presentation, and I had to roll out like what employees I was going to hire, what roles they were going to fill, how we were going to manage their salaries and all that kind of stuff, because they, as a CTO, you don't just handle the programming and the DevOps and the whatever else, right? You are the vision of the company from a technology perspective, right? So the CEO has a vision where he wants the company to go, and the CTO is the person who has to realize that vision using technology in whatever way possible, right? And so that doesn't just mean getting good employees, that doesn't just mean making sure that stuff gets done on time. It's a mix of everything. And so it was really daunting, because they were like, hey, you know, we're offering this to you, but you really have to prove to us that you can do this and that you're someone who wants to do this.
So what are you doing when you're not coding? Like you're the same age as me, right? So we're both interested in pretty similar topics. But what I mean, I can see in the background there, we got all the Zelda posters. We got like, I don't know, we got a bunch of cool stuff. But what are you doing when you're not coding, right? So we don't want it to make it. We don't want to make it be like all about this prestige, right? You're still a normal dude that has worked his way into this position. But what are you doing when you're not doing code?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I like video games a ton. I've been playing video games since I was a little kid, and I still play them today. Mostly now, though, honestly, it's more about hanging out with my friends and chatting with people. And so usually I play Dota because that's what everyone else plays, and it's nice to hop in the Discord and chat. We used to play PUBG a little bit, but once Fortnite came out, you know, no one really cared, and PUBG was kind of in a lame state. So I got a lot. I do a lot of woodworking and like DIY stuff. Like I'm really obsessed with that. Like last night I was watching like wood joinery videos until like 1 a.m. Do a whole lot of outdoor stuff really, other than hunting and swimming. But like those are the kind of two things that I really like to do. And then of course there's kind of like film and videography and YouTube. And obviously I have a YouTube channel and I make videos on there. And again, they're about random stuff, right? Sometimes they're about programming, sometimes they're about DIY stuff, woodworking. Sometimes they're about, you know, motivation or how to think about problems, and I don't know, they're just about random things. And so my channel's Meta Taylor, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I feel like it's mostly going to be disbelief and downplaying. They're going to be like, oh, it's just some rinky-dink company, and it's like whatever. But I don't know, like for me, I think it's like the perfect balance, because I think if it was any smaller, I would feel that way too. But it's like, it's a company that deals in millions, not billions, but not thousands.
So actually, if you don't know, he's actually an admin in the Discord, and I should have probably done this videos sooner, but if you want to reach out to him, check out the Discord. Link is in the description below. Come check it out. We'd love to hang out. Come drop your questions. He can answer very technical questions, soft skills. He's your man. If you want to see more videos like this, click the little subscribe button on my channel and his channel. We would greatly appreciate that, and we'll see you in the next video.